I'm going to speak about a wonderful project of ours, which is a very close to heart project, SL World Bird Park. It is a project which was completed by Team Newwatch in 2017. The project went around for 9 months, and the project is a walk-in aviary, and it falls under the purview of recreational landscapes. So what is a walk-in aviary? A walk-in aviary is a large enclosure which is used to house birds, and wherein a natural environment is simulated to match the natural environment. Okay, it essentially allows human participation. Once again, I haven't started recording. Just record. Um, yeah. Okay, so it essentially allows human participation, and the scale of this enclosure can vary from the number of birds it houses. Okay, now, so looking at what are the guidelines that are required to design such a landscape, because it is one of the first bird aviaries that was designed in Mumbai, so it was a unique project, and that was its unique selling point also. So, yeah, what are the design considerations? Now, looking at the bird species. So, bird species were initially selected based on whether they are, exotic or not, something that is not generally seen around. Then, whether they are human friendly, whether they are not, they are trainable, whether they are aggressive or not. So we cannot have these aggressive birds kept in an open walk-in aviary. Okay, then a habitat had to be created for these birds. So what are the main 5 kinds of habitats that birds generally occupy? So there are these 5 habitats where birds inhabit trees, grasslands, shallow waters, deep waters, and mudflats. But birds have different preferences. One habitat is for their nesting as a preference and for feeding. Okay, so these are the 2 main criteria, and the distance between their nesting habitats and their feeding habitats has to be minimal to ensure that it functions properly. Then looking at the third criteria, which is designing for bird and human interactions. So when you're considering bird and human interactions, there are many factors that come into play. Like birds are highly sensitive to noise. So all the surrounding noise needs to be curbed while designing for them. And also there are when a human approaches a bird, at a particular distance, every bird species has a distance at which it gets alerted by an approaching human, which is called as alert distance, which you will see, sorry, which you will see over here. Yeah. So, which is the alert distance. So the bird is aware that now a human has stepped into its territory. And then a distance at which the bird fears the human is the flight distance, where the bird initiates a flight. So these distances play an important role in designing and determining the distances at which trails have to be placed if the bird has to be observed in its natural surroundings. Now, one must note that in urban settings, birds get acclimatized to human intervention and human presence. So these distances vary depending on the acclimatization of each bird species to human interaction. Now looking at circulation. Now, when you're planning a park, the circulation is the most important part, as it generates the narration that the designer is expecting to create in the park. So there are multiple ways of looping in a park. Okay, there is an open-ended looping and there is a close-ended looping. Like for example, the open-ended looping may have multiple entries, or the entries may be different and the exits may be different. Whereas a closed looping would have a same entry and exit, okay, which has been used in this project, which allows controlling of the access. Also, there is a hierarchy in circulation in terms of primary circulation and secondary circulation. And in larger parks, you would see tertiary circulation. So primary circulation basically addresses all, allows you to visit all the experiences in the park in the shortest possible time. And it also offers you routes to the secondary circulation, so that you can, one second, yeah, so that you can choose to stroll on if you have that liberty of time. Okay, then you must think about pause points. After, as a general rule, after every 10 minutes, when walking on a trail, you must think about pause points. Okay, so these pause points must be designed in such a way that the user is interested, or he may hinder, stop there for some time and take maybe photos, or there is something attractive, there is a sculpture, and they must be identified. And these cannot be as small as just a pathway. It has to become larger in terms of its scale. So, and then stability also becomes a very, yeah.
Yes.
So this is the elevated track that we are looking at in the image. I am unable to, yeah. Then this is the amphitheater, the deck. I'll just run you through all the areas that we have explained. This is the water cascade section. So these are some sculptures that are placed at pause points, which catch interest and become photo opportunities also. Then these are some other sculptures carved out of bamboo. And then you come to the store. Now talking about the safety aspects and the structure of the aviary, all the structural components were placed along the periphery to avoid any visual disturbance. And one central pole which supported the entire structure was camouflaged with trees around, and was placed such that the structure could conserve the existing trees. And also the flight of the birds was an important consideration for deciding the height of the structure, which is 15 meters. Okay, so the net for this aviary was procured from China, which is because we don't get such nets which have such a small gauge size in India. Okay, so that was the whole project. I would like to conclude from on behalf of New Arch that regard emerging trends of landscape architecture being today's topic. I would say that landscape architecture does not mean only green walls or green areas or parks. They also mean the silent spaces between your buildings, which today we have come to realize the value of due to these COVID crisis. Today, we can only step out into our society gardens or onto our society terraces, or look over landscapes that we can see from our window. And I'm sure you realize the value and how it enhances your life when you're at home. So landscape stretches across wide typologies, and unfortunately, it is still a very young field in India, which we all should enjoy exploring more into. There are many typologies in landscape architecture, and they have many, they have many nitty-gritties of design that has to be explored. So with that, I would say that landscape is still an emerging profession in today's world, in today's time in India. And being an emerging profession, there are many new trends that are being practiced, and we are looking at adopting these trends through research and through taking different kind of projects and trying to address them in the best possible way. Thank you. I would also like to thank my team, my seniors who explained this project, which was done in 2017 by Team New Arch. It is a very interesting project. I hope you found it so.